Hello everyone, this is Ryan Cote from Internet Business Passion. In this video, I'm going to give you a live example of how I use Twitter as a networking tool. And first things first, I want to mention that I am not literally stalking John Lee Dumas. I'm trying to use catchier headlines on Internet Business Passion. I thought that was kind of catchy, and it's relevant to what I'm going to talk about here. But I'm not stalking John Lee Dumas. I'm trying to network with him on Twitter. So I just wanted to clear that up first. Um, so who is John Lee Dumas? He runs a podcast called Entrepreneur on Fire. If you have any entrepreneurial blood in your body at all, you'll love this podcast. Every day he interviews a different entrepreneur, and so you get lessons learned type of information, inspiration, and ideas. And the podcast is only 35 minutes long, so it's very easy to listen to, especially if you have a commute. But in one of his podcasts, and I don't remember which one, he had mentioned that he's open to doing interviews, especially on new blogs, because he remembered what it was like when he was just starting out with his podcast here. And so now, while I don't have a podcast, I am one of the formats I'm using on my new blog here about internet business is I'm doing a lot of video posts and getting them transcribed and straight text posts, but I'm also doing text interviews. I have a few lined up, and I've got one here published with Brian Dean from Backlinko. So just a simple text interview where I try to ask, type of sort of out of the box questions, and not as much fluff, but more, the kind of questions that I think my audience would like to see. So my goal is to do a text interview with John Lee Dumas. So now, of course, I could just email him through his contact page, but I'm trying to be a little more of an out-of-the-box thinker here. So I've been commenting on their blog. They have a really good blog here too. I've been commenting on their blog, okay? But I'm also using Twitter to try to connect with John, and that's what I want to get across here. That Twitter is a great tool for syndicating your content, but it's also an awesome tool for connecting with people. You have the ability to connect with anyone that you want. Now, of course, they don't have to respond, but you have the ability to connect with anyone that you want. And so when you're using Twitter, of course use it to syndicate your content, but also think about how can I use Twitter to connect with people in my industry that I want to connect with. Now with John, I love his podcast, and I wrote him a little note here telling him so, and he wrote back saying, hey, glad to hear it, and can you leave me a review on iTunes? And I wrote back right down here, happy to, which then he favorited. Okay? So what I did then is I downloaded iTunes, got an account set up with them and whatnot, and I left him a review, which we can see right over here. Okay? And what I did is I took a little screenshot of this. Okay? Going back to Twitter. I'm trying to give you a live example here of how I'm using Twitter to try to connect with John Lee Dumas. And also what I want to get across here is that this is like a give and take thing. You can't just take. You have to give as well. I gave him a compliment. He asked for a review, and I gave him that 5-star review. And I didn't just give it to him just to give it to him. I mean it. I love the podcast. I listen to it every day. And so my 5-star review is authentic. Okay. And then now what I'm going to do here is I want to show him that I left him the review. He's getting a lot, of reviews, so I don't want my review to get lost in the other reviews that he's getting. So I want to show him that I actually did what I said I was going to do. Okay, so I wrote here a tweet here per our tweets. I left you a 5-star review. Thanks again for an awesome product. Okay, awesome podcast. And I attached the screenshot of my review. So I'm going to tweet this out. This is being done live here. Okay, so I'm going to tweet this out. Okay, sent. Let's go back to my tweets. Where is it? Tweets. Okay. Here we are. Okay. So there's my tweet. I just sent it out. You can view the photo of what I did here. And you can see I took a little screenshot of the review so he can see it. Okay, so what's next? Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to publish this video on my blog, get it transcribed. Okay, but in the meantime, while it's getting transcribed, I'm going to send a second tweet out to John, and I'm going to embed that tweet on the actual published post. But I'm going to send him a tweet directly asking him for the opportunity to text interview him for my blog, and then I'm also going to point him to this video to show him that I created this video about trying to connect with him on Twitter. Now, hopefully, he doesn't think that's weird. Hopefully, he thinks it's more creative and out of the box type of approach. But we'll see what happens. And if you want to follow along, subscribe to my blog or follow me on Twitter. And hopefully, in the near future, you'll see a text interview on Internet Business Passion with John Lee Dumas. All right. Thanks for watching. Take care.